What's going on, guys? Dylan Conrad, Coach Con Diesel. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the top 5 food logging mistakes that I see. Before I hop into that, follow me on Instagram at Coach_Con Diesel. Like, subscribe, turn notifications, all helps. Before I get into it, hey, I know my hair, it's kind of doing weird stuff. I'm not wearing a cutoff. I apologize. I got an email from my best friend. He said, "You are such a douche, bro. The cutoff and the backwards hat. Could you be any more the bad guy from a 90s teen romance you hope the girl cheats on?" I thought that was really funny, and I was like, yeah, I do look like a douche. So I'm more put together. So I appreciate the feedback, especially from my best friends. You know, they always keep me in line. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk to you guys. I had a conversation with my mother-in-law, and we were talking about logging food, and she's like, I log my food for 2 weeks. I don't see progress, and I just get discouraged. And I was like, you shouldn't use the calories that MyFitnessPal, which is the app she was using, but any food logging app, you should never use the calories that they give you because they are so inaccurate. There's so many more variables that go into it, and genetics plays such a big role in your resting metabolism that those are like never going to work. So that's one of them. I'm gonna go into like top 5. I'm also gonna dissect that a little bit more so you guys understand why that isn't a good solution and what to do instead. But these are the top 5, and I log my food, for the greater part of 8 years. Is that sustainable? I mean, for me, it's kind of like brushing my teeth, and I actually enjoy it. 100% of my personal clients all log their food so I can actually see what they're eating, hold them accountable, and just make sure they're following whatever diet model that I put them on. But I would say, if you're trying to get really lean, or if you're trying to get lean really fast, you have to log your food. To go into a place where you're like eyeballing stuff, that's a place of mastery I'm not even at, but you could build it up. You could definitely build up to there. You just have to log your food first. If your goal is like overall health, might not matter as much, but they do say that daily monitoring of any type is what's going to lead to sustainability. So daily monitoring would obviously be logging your food. Without further ado, top 5 mistakes I see with food logging. Number 1 is using those preset calories. So like I mentioned before, my mother-in-law was like, I use the preset calories, it sets me at this. And I said, based on genetics, activity level, like whatever, day to day, it actually might be lower, than what it's giving you, because she was like, oh, I eat that for 2 weeks and I don't see progress and I just give up. And I said, those numbers they're giving you aren't accurate. So what I like to use is I actually just have clients log their food normally. What I'd recommend for you, if you just want to see results right off the bat and like you're already putting the effort, is eat less than you normally do. Log everything with surgical precision. I'm talking put everything on the food scale, log it. Don't use like closest to brands, like use the exact brand that you're logging. If you're eating out, use that exact restaurant because it's going to increase variability. And find what that number is. And if you're at a trajectory where you're losing, 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds per week, and that's like the ideal, trajectory you want to go on, that's your deficit. If you're not, you can actually set it a little bit lower. So if you gained a pound, maybe go, however many hundreds of calories lower that you need to go to actually get that ball rolling. Okay, so that's number 1, is don't use those calories. Use my solution, which is just eat less and log that with surgical precision and use that as your number. You can also eat normally, log everything with surgical precision, and then just go lower than that. So that's just an easy way to do it. 2 is ballparking your calories and logging without surgical precision. So ballparking is like, oh, okay, I think this piece of chicken's like 8 ounce. And like, look at an eye, maybe it's 8, but maybe it's 9, maybe it's 7. I would never ballpark food, because the less variability we have, the more clear we understand, the better decisions we can make with the data. So you always want to be surgical with the weighing and the measuring and the logging, because there's a report, the research shows that 40%, not 40%, the American that is like pretty accustomed to food logging, has like been doing it for a while, actually underestimates their calories by 40%, which is like insane. That's basically like, I think I was calculating, if you're on a 1,500 calorie, deficit, it could be you actually eating 2,400, which is just putting you actually in a surplus and like causing you to gain weight. So with that said, don't ballpark. Don't be like, oh, I think that's this. Put it on a food scale, barcode the thing, make sure you're at the right restaurant, and like make sure everything is surgically precise, okay? Number 3 is giving up. So I see this too often. Sometimes people give up because they don't see progress. Some people don't give up. Some people give up because they're like, they don't want to make the sacrifices of what it takes, which is, if you think about it, it's not that much. What I'd recommend, if you feel like just logging such a pain in the butt, but you do well like eating the same things, I would just wake up in the morning, put all your food in a log, and just eat that. If you change a couple things, and you don't have to do as much work, and it just makes it so much easier. So don't give up, because you just need to do the same thing you're doing, but from a different angle. So for example, if you're on keto, now log your food and go into a deficit so you can actually see what that number is, right? That'd be a different angle. So keto is one angle, and still staying on keto. The other angle would be logging your food and making sure you're in a deficit, right? Or, you can increase cardio, you can decrease calories. There's a lot of different things you can do aside from giving up. Remember, insanity isn't doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a result. Insanity is being an insane person doing the same thing over and over again, expecting results, called trying. Okay, so just keep trying, keep doing. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't give up easily. I think, we're always like getting shiny object syndrome, looking, oh, what's the next best diet, and it's the next best thing, the boring stuff, it works, okay? Like, this might be exciting at first when you're like logging food, ooh, new shiny toy, but like go 2 to 4 weeks in, it's really boring. Number 4, biggest mistake, only focusing on calories and not on protein. So I'm talking to you like you're 97% of the people that we coach and that are in the world today that you're trying to lose body fat. And if you are only focusing on your calories and you're in a deficit, you're going to be hungry, right? And if you're hungry, you're gonna be losing body fat, which is a good thing. But if you're hungry, you're also going to have a harder time sticking to that diet. Whether you go on like an all-out binge, whether you just kind of go over your calories, whether it just gets too hard and you're like, oh, it's just so frustrating. I like want the sexy piece of chicken. What's going to increase your satiety, what's going to increase that feeling of fullness, is eating more protein. So increasing your protein, I recommend like people getting on this and staying in a deficit, don't go lower than 0.6 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're a 130 pound woman, I think it'd be like 80 grams is like the minimum you want to go to. And 80% of my clients that are coming to our program are not getting at least that, which it is a lot, right? You're eating basically a lot of protein. So that's where I would start, is eating high protein, low calorie, because eating high protein, it's going to make you more full. It's also going to expand your stomach more. It takes up more room in your stomach. It's more voluminous. So it's going to send that signal to your brain, hey, I'm full, let's chill, let's not eat anymore, and you're good to go. Okay. Number 5, this is kind of piggybacking on number 2, but it's not using a food scale and not using the barcode option. So the barcode option on MyFitnessPal, if you go to search, right next to search, there's like a barcode. You click it, you can actually barcode any food, and it pops up, and you just put the serving size in. It's like really awesome, right? Cool thing is, once you put one food in, it's just like the same food. You rinse and repeat that are going to be in the search. So once you type in like peanut butter, like it just puts your exact brand that you already put in there because it's already in the search history. In fact, when you probably put like P-E-A-N, it'll start coming up and you'll see exactly what you need. But not using a food scale, we want to get surgically precise, right? And like in a game where if we're ballparking and that is 9 ounces instead of 8 ounces, if it's a fat, that could be like 200 calories over, right? And so we really want to get surgically precise, because 200 calories over, that adds up over time. That puts us in maintenance or in a surplus where we're gaining weight or not seeing any progress. So using the food scale, it just gets clear data where we can just take all the emotion out of it. We can just look at things mathematically, and we can just make decisions that way, right? When we add emotion to it, we get pissed, we get frustrated, we get da-da-da. When we have clear-cut data, data doesn't lie, right? That's why I love science.